Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's me, Mitch, and I'm back from Sarasota in the WEFM radio studio in record time, in less than 2 minutes. I went from Kelsey's house in Sarasota to my studio here in Melbourne, the wonders and marvel of electronics and virtual live streaming. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. But now down to business, so let's get this thing started. And of course, drink it if you got it. You magical bastards. That was great. That was great fun this morning. I like that. I like the idea. I kind of wondered right up to the last minute because I couldn't find it. But bang, right at 6 o'clock, there they were. And the usual suspects were all there. Rick and Peter and Lewis and me and Kelly. Ollie at Kelsey. We had it was a great little live stream. Really enjoyed it. So let me get my mixer set. I'm ready, and I'm here. And how is everybody this morning? We have 68 people here already. Wow. And Uncle Charlie says, you guys need to reach out to Kip. You can still gain weight after surgery. Help that poor guy. It's a sense of emergency. Charlie, this community has been trying to help Kip in every way, shape, or form with encouragement, lots of money, gifts, advice. Some of the best have taken him under their wing. It's been a story that's been going on for years. Kip's going to do what Kip's going to do. I think it's a tragedy. But you can lead a horse to water, they say. And that's the way it is with some people. Is it a carb addiction so strong that nothing will fix it? More than likely it is. So it's a warm and giving gesture of a thought. But if it hasn't worked until now, I think it's time that we all let Kip be his own man and be responsible for whatever happens, and maybe he'll figure out a way to make it work. I don't know. It's sad. We were, Carnivore Chad says, I hate to see him do it. Well, we all do. And I know the story of my daughter and her deal with the surgery and trying to lose weight all her life with the gastric band, and she finally got rid of it, had surgery and got it removed, and because she got fat. It's a long story. It's a long, sad story. I don't think it was ever a really great idea. I feel sorry for those people who have the surgeries that cannot be reversed. They have indeed mutilated themselves and ruined their lives, listening to their doctors. And some of our carnivore doctors, as far as I'm concerned, aren't any better. Won't mention any names. What are your thoughts on the GLP-1? I think it's a crutch, says Robbie Autry. My thoughts on GLP-1 are don't. That's it. Don't. GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide, is a peptide that we manufacture ourselves, and you can stimulate, they call them agonists. So you can agonize GLP-1 by simply eating beef. Why would you need drugs to do something that you can do by eating a tasty steak or a hamburger or any animal product? Stimulates GLP-1 and gives you the desired effect. It turns off your appetite. You don't eat as much when you eat fatty meat. That's the answer. And it's cheaper. And you don't have to stick yourself in the ass with needles every day. And there's no side effects. No side effects, no toxins. And it's time tested and proven. It's been working for the human animal for millions of years. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. A message that every drug company should get, but they can't make any money. And that's the world we live in. A world of corruption and agendas, greedy and selfish people who are just doing what they have been evolutionary programmed to do, and that is look out for number one first. So it's a conundrum. It's ironic. It is those human traits of self-preservation and look out for number one that has caused the greed and the corruption, because we're just behaving like our ancestors did to survive, and we're torn in the middle. And unfortunately, these days, those people have a lot of money and a lot of power and a lot of advertising dollars as well. And an entire medical community who needs to make their Porsche and house payments. It's not hard to identify the problem. We all know what the problem is, especially in our community. That's not the problem. Same thing with politics. There's no shortage of politicians that will give a speech and tell you what's wrong, and if you vote for them, they're going to change it. They never tell you what they're going to do, and they never tell you whether that change is going to make it better or worse, if it's even possible. And most of the time, the change they're talking about isn't even possible. They're just greedy and corrupt and want the power and the money of the office. And use that power and money of the office to enrich themselves. How else do these congressmen and senators end up with a net worth of $30 million friggin' dollars in a few years on a salary of $100-something thousand a year? You tell me how they do that math without being corrupt. Sign me up. I'm there. Maybe a little old for it, but sign me up. Sign me up. So here we are, everybody. A little politics this morning. I just had glanced at that chat, saw Kip's name come up. Kip's name came up at the end of Kilsey's chat. It's sad. It's just sad. Whether it's his fault, who knows? Who knows? I've seen many sides of him on YouTube. I like the guy. I think he likes me. Every once in a while, I'll get a nice comment from him. But either gastric surgery, GLP-1s, or any of the newer, more powerful things that they keep coming out with. Now they want to gene splice, change our DNA. We are definitely on the road to the extinction of the human race. Maybe not in a generation or two, but we are not evolving anymore. We have started the long road to de-evolving. We don't know enough. We're smart, but we're just not smart enough to recognize how we got here. We're fooling with nature and evolution itself, and we're not smart enough. We don't even understand most of how it works at this point. If you don't know how a car engine works, put the toolbox away and don't screw your engine. You're more than likely to screw it up. You know the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So here we are. Here we are. Who was first? Who was first? Mary, yeah, hi, Mary, how are you? I like the way these things spell out the emojis. Person turquoise waving speech. That's an emoji that goes with that somewhere. But it doesn't show up here in my StreamYard chat feed. Good morning, Wayne Herman from North Carolina, WEFM in the morning. Good to see you, Lady June. Good morning, Anna. 3 Wow from Rough Carnivore. It's showtime. And me. Say good morning to everybody and welcome. Brian Dish, TGIF. Good morning, Mitch, and all the Mitch Fits. Yes, it is TGIF. The end of the work week for me. Take tomorrow off. I am going to finish shooting the video of cooking in the Bighorn Outdoor Grill. Michael and I got it set up yesterday, and the people that were in our members community to live stream it last night got a preview of 2 old farts unboxing this thing, unedited. And I want to thank Michael for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Humaira, how are you? Hello, everyone. And Humaira asked me a question in a comment yesterday about what do I think about the current trend of the carnivore community, talking about if you don't eat carbs after so many years, you are doing damage to your body because you can be screwing with your body's ability to regulate its own blood sugar. And more people are jumping on this bandwagon. I think it was started by Paul Saladino back in the day. But more people are using this as an excuse to make YouTube videos. I posed this question to Kelsey and the panel last night. Kelsey this morning and the panel last night in our members live stream. And pretty much everybody thought it was nonsense. I think it's nonsense. And I went into an area of why I think it's nonsense, and that, Humaira, hinges on what is normal anyway. So to say that if you stay carnivore and you don't eat sugar for more than 3 years, 4 years, your blood sugar numbers will now be either higher or outside of the normal range. Who is it that determines this normal? And as an example, I said, well, we already know that in a healthy carnivore, our cholesterol, our LDL, is going to be 5 times what they consider the normal range, and yet we seem to be healthier and healthier, and we're not suffering from all this coronary disease, unless it was brought on by those years of bad eating. Maybe normal LDL should be between 350 and 450. And it's only bad in an unhealthy, sugar-burning individual. And the normal range comes from the average, the bell curve of most of the people who take these blood tests, and 99% of them are metabolically trashed. Maybe an A1C of 4.9 for a really healthy individual might be way too low. And by worrying about the fact that our A1C may go up a couple of tenths of a point after years on carnivore, maybe that means we're just getting healthier, and that's the real desirable number. There's so many of these blood tests when you get to be a healthy carnivore, especially the EGFR, creatinine levels, BUN, blood urea nitrogen, that go way off the charts because our body is burning fuel differently than most of the great unwashed, sick, and unhealthy. Maybe these things that they're warning us about and making videos about and telling us to start eating these things that we finally got healthy getting away from, maybe they're not looking at it from a big picture perspective. Maybe we healthy carnivores actually need a set of what we consider optimal ranges for healthy, metabolically working people. Maybe they're all wrong, and with that advice doing more damage by telling carnivores that they need to start eating sugar again. Maybe they're doing terrible damage to something that we've finally managed to get fixed, and we're finally seeing the results of what we're supposed to truly be in our numbers. For that reason alone, I don't look at numbers anymore, because every time I look at numbers or let somebody look at my numbers, they tell me what's wrong with me because my numbers aren't the same as all of the sick, unhealthy, dying people out there. But your numbers are good. Your numbers are good. And Barry made a meme about this. He made a meme about this, and I want to show it right now because I think it's a good point. I think that a standalone video needs to be made about this. I can't say definitively, but in theory, based on what's happening to us, I cannot see that as we get healthy, because our cholesterol numbers they consider bad, or maybe our sugar goes up a little bit, that might not be the actual way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. So, Barry made this meme, and I think this says it all.
Your numbers look great. What? How is that possible? Her diet is working wonders.
Told you I'm fabulous.
That's not healthy. I'm carnivore. Numbers don't lie.
That's our problem. That's our problem right there. It's too bad. It's too bad. So, Humara, I hope that answers your question. It's not advice. I can't tell you not to believe these people. I can't tell you definitely they're wrong. But logically, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Because we survived. And that's how our ancestors lived. And many human lineages went an entire lifetime without eating plants. It can't be deadly. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, I posited this morning on Kelsey's stream about my cigar smoking. And I used Rick as an example. Rick jokes about the fact that he got to be a carnivore because he wanted to have a heart attack. He was trying to have a heart attack. And he's marveled by the fact that he hasn't died yet, because that's what everybody said. If you eat only meat, you're going to clog up your arteries and die. And I said, well, that's how I feel about cigars. So when they asked me, why do you smoke cigars? I said, well, I'm trying to commit suicide. I'm trying to kill myself. I'm doing it on purpose. I've been doing it, smoking cigars for 55 years now, and it ain't working because I'm still here. And everybody knows cigars are deadly. I know they're deadly. They killed my grandfather at 102 years old. They killed George Burns at 100. They must be deadly. Why won't they kill me? Now, of course, that's a lot of sarcasm. But that just goes to show you people have no friggin' idea about half the things that they actually propose here on YouTube in front of God and everybody, telling you what you need to do and trying to scare you so that you'll click on their YouTube video. We do have a problem. We do have a problem. We have too many experts. I can hardly watch YouTube anymore. There's just too many experts. I'm not an expert. I'm just a thinker. And I have an opinion. And I don't mind saying it. But I'm not an expert. I haven't memorized the name of every molecule in every pathway like some people have, and they sound very intelligent. They're parrots. They're just repeating somebody else's opinion because we don't know any of this stuff for sure. We can't see it happening. We can only theorize about what's happening and picture it in our mind or our imagination. So many of these things that they teach in biology simply don't make sense. And they make long videos talking about the Randall cycle, the Krebs cycle, the citric acid cycle, the electron transport chain. Nobody's ever seen that actually happening. We think we know what's going on because when you start with this and you end up with that, you have to figure out how did one thing get converted to the other. But we're talking about molecular chemistry here, molecular biology. Our microscopes can't see things happening that small or that fast for that matter. These molecular reactions are happening at the speed of light. I mean, it's incredible. So just because somebody who's got a professor's cap on or a long doctor's coat and a stethoscope, don't assume that they actually have the brain power to think logically, to do critical thinking. Think for yourself. And when somebody says to you, does this make sense to you? Don't just go with the longest white coat. That's what I do. That's what I do. And, and Kiltz does too. That's why some of the things Kiltzy says go fly in the face of everybody else. I mean, we got one doctor on YouTube, Sean O'Mara, who does videos and talks nothing about the fact that visceral fat is killing you. And they got all kinds of chemistry, and visceral fat creates cytokines, and these cytokines react with this and that, and they interrupt the blah, blah, and they go on and on and on, and they know, like as if they had actually seen it. Kiltzy comes along and says, all fat is, how could fat be dangerous? How could fat kill you when getting fat was the most important survival mechanism for most living things? That's logic. Neither of them can prove their case because we can't see it happening. We have to make experiments and do science, which is corrupted by people with agendas to sell you things, and that's not reliable. And Kiltzy has named it scientism, and I thought that was as clever as hell. Now, Kiltzy and I have had long conversations, and we both realize that this is theorizing, but with no reliable way to test it. It's like saying, when somebody comes up to you and says, well, I don't know about that carnivore stuff. Nobody showed me any studies, long-term studies, that carnivore isn't harmful. Well, duh. Nobody's shown any long-term studies that the standard American diet is harmful either. It's all anecdotal. And the real evidence of it is everybody's sick and taking 15 prescription drugs. Isn't that better than any studied, concocted to prove a point to sell you something? So studies are nothing but propaganda and marketing material. Just like the studies that came out of Harvard and Tufts University telling you to eat breakfast cereals instead of steak. And we believe it, and they tell you this on the news, which is why nothing you hear on the news is anything anymore except somebody's propaganda. Deception is the order of the day. Pisses me off. Let that be my rant for today. Let that be my rant for today. Did you enjoy that rant? Yes. And I still haven't gotten anywhere near 7 o'clock in the chat, so let me get back at it. Richard Williams, how you doing? Humira, I hope that answered your question. We can talk more about that in the future, but that is a great question. A great question. I'm glad I took a little bit of time, or a lot of time, addressing that this morning. Richard Williams, good morning to you, sir. How are you? And Mike Seeley's here. And Junior's here from Tampa Bay. Hi, Michael. How are you? How are you? Brian Airy, good morning. Good morning. Lori Weitzel, hi, sweetie. How are you doing? Good to see you this morning. And Cordelia in Albany. Wow, that was quite a meetup you guys had over there. I enjoyed looking at the pictures. That was great. I think that's the way meetups should be. Separate meetups from events. Events are great. Meet stock. Hack your health. Events like that are great. 2, 3, 4 days at a host hotel. A meetup. If you can get 30 people to a meetup at a place as nice as one of Kiltz's waiting rooms, I think that's great. Only problem is, if you have to travel a long way, it can be expensive, and those things last, half a day, maybe, if people hang around. The meetup we had here in Melbourne, we all adjourned to my house, smoked cigars. It was a great day. We had a great day. But I wouldn't suggest somebody spend $1,000 for travel and hotels to come to an event that only lasts that long. My opinion. That's all I have is opinions. Jerry Voitas, good morning from Ponte Vedra Beach. Good to see you. And Francine Bourgeois, bonjour. Bonjour. Good day to all from Montreal. What does that say? TGIG? Okay, I don't know what that means, but thanks God it's whatever. WEFM in the morning. Barry sent me a couple of proposed intros for WEFM, and I'd like you to tell me which one you like better. Do you like this one?
OG in the morning, radio WEFM.
You like that one, or you like this one?
WEFM in the morning.
Yeah, maybe use them alternatively. He also sent me, I have a thing that because I'm getting way behind on looking at these memes. He also sent me this a graphic of meat candy. Why is that not working? Oh, I see why it's not working, because I still got that. Hang on. Okay, there. Meat candy. Look at that. Bacon is carnivore candy. Bacon carnivore. Look at that. Is that great? That's true. That's true. I call bacon, I always have, I call it meat candy. Meat candy. We need to start, we talked about this morning on Kiltz's, we need to start in our conversation with the great unwashed out there, whenever we're talking to people who are not carnivores, we need to start adding the word healthy every time. The word bacon, eggs, ribeye, steak, meat. Anytime you say it, you should get in the habit of putting the word healthy in front of it. What are you having for dinner, Mitch? I'm having a healthy ribeye. What are you eating for breakfast, Mitch? I'm having some healthy bacon and some healthy eggs. People will look at you funny, but when you listen to them talk, they put the word health. They're conditioned and trained now to put the word healthy in front of virtually everything. What are you going to have, man? Well, I'm going to have some healthy fruits and vegetables with a side order of healthy whole grains. And it just flows. And it's subliminal. So we need to start, and I need to do that too, start using the word healthy whenever I describe what I'm eating. Because I'm one that's right, and they're wrong. And everybody is programmed to continually perpetuate their myth that animal food is deadly and plant food is healthy. Plants are trying to kill us. One of the great truths. Aaron, good morning to you. How are you? And Liz is here. And I need to make an apology at this point, because I do notice these things when watching the replays, and I go fast on these things, and sometimes words come out of my mouth which are the wrong words, or I say the wrong name, because I'm associating these things at a mile a minute trying to get through this in the morning. And a few times when Christy, Meeting Wellness, puts a post in there, for some reason, the word Liz comes out of my mouth. That's embarrassing, because I really do know better. I'm going to try conscientiously, Christy, not to call you Liz anymore. And if I did it the other way around, I'm sorry there too. But Liz is Black Box Morning, and Meeting Wellness is Christy. Christy, I got it. I got it. Trying to show off this senile old man's memory still works. Sometimes I embarrass myself. Here's Rick. Rick was on Kelsey's stream. Good morning, Quackers, and Barry Simon. Good Friday morning from Massachusetts, Pound EFM. Good morning, Barry. How you doing, buddy? Thank you. The jingles sound like a gospel station. Why not? We have a God. We are. You know, if there's any true gospel, it's not in the religious arenas. It's in the physiology and health arenas. This should be what the gospels are talking about. How not to get fat, diabetic, and kill yourself. They're supposed to give good advice, I think. Robbie Autry says, red button, Mitch. We'll get to the red button. Hi, Robbie. And I still haven't gotten to 7 o'clock yet. Then chat is 7:30. Holy cow. But I'm having fun. I'm feeling. Last couple of days, boy, my energy's coming back. You asked Mike Seeley. He was having trouble keeping him with me walking around yesterday. I'm starting to feel my oats. I'm even thinking about maybe going out to the store today. Maybe I'll go to Aldi's just to get out of the house. I talked to Ellen texted me, and I'm going to give Ellen a call. We haven't talked in a long time, and so I'm going to give her a call after we get done with the live stream this morning. But maybe after that, I'll take a drive, get out of the house. It's Friday. I'm pretty well done with the YouTube stuff for the day. I do have some computer work I got to do, but I got got a long weekend to finish that off. Not a longer weekend, but 2 days. Retired Rick, good morning to you, and Anthony is here, and Brian Dish. Let's get started for the first Friday of June. Yes, it is first Friday, and of course, Robbie Autry. Hiya, Robbie. How you doing? Where's Lambs? Where's Lambs? Wow. Lewis is first one in. Lewis was in Kelsey's stream. That was nice. It's usually the same people, but I just so enjoy. I missed Gary this morning, but I just enjoy getting together with Peter and Rick and Lewis and Kelly and the whole crew. Kelsey. It's just you got a circle of friends, you spend a lot of time with them. Just so we know that everything is status quo at Casa Mopar in Miami, Milton is attacking. Yes. And if he stops, we're going to start wondering what happened. Marla Kelly, good morning, everyone. Danny in Boston's here. Karen Field is here. Don Shanger is here. Good morning to you. Put QQQ in the chat if there's anything you want to talk about that I haven't already talked about this morning in the first 34 minutes of this live stream, or the hour of Kelsey's live stream that came before it. That worked out pretty good this morning. I like that. I sat out there on the porch, had my first cup of coffee, puffed on a cigar, put my cell phone up on a tripod, and just participated in their chat, in case you weren't there. At quarter till, I grabbed the cell phone, stayed in the chat, walked in the house, I had my studio all set up for this, and people could actually see me getting ready. I got my coffee, went to the bathroom, did my usual routine, sat in my chair, positioned my microphone, had the cell phone right off to the side, and everybody was watching me do that. And about a minute and a half before his stream ended, I said, yep, gotta go, guys. Then I raced to the airport, caught a plane from Sarasota, got to the airport here in Orlando, got an Uber home here, And in a minute and a half, I was sitting in my own studio for my own live stream. It's a miracle, folks, a real miracle. And Lewis is long gone, headed out for his walk, but let us know. And listening. That's great. It's good to see you this morning, Lewis. Always is. Marla Kelly, good morning, everyone. Stevie is here. Stevie Wood, good morning. Mitch, got a big crowd here this morning. 120 people. That's a 5. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. It's great to see it maybe growing. This is probably, and streams like this would be the best place for people to start their morning, as opposed to listening to the normal dose of drug ads, news, phony news, clickbait, and propaganda that we have jammed down our throats every morning if we pay attention to it. And Lewis says I'm doing good, about half done walking. That's great, Lewis. That's great. I'm going to try to get a little walking in today myself. And Lori says, yes, Liz, and he mixes up names. Then ended up, especially if I were light-haired Sandy, Terry, Lori, Sherry. Yeah, I know. There's times we have 2 or 3 different Jerrys in here. Just Jerry. Jerry Voitush. Well, I mean, Peter sounds like your grandma knew best. Okay, I'm looking at the current chat. Let me get back to this and get through it. Uncle Charlie had a question. I think I got that. Yeah, reach out to Kip. Feel sorry for Kip. I think Kip's got his mind made up, and we'll see how well, in a year or two, that it actually, whether it turned out to be the right decision. That's the problem with so many decisions. A lot of time's got to go by before you get any evidence to know that I shouldn't have done that, or, wow, I'm glad I did that. I have that same thing even today about my decision to let them remove that subdural hematoma from under my, and have them cut me, do brain surgery on me. They told me it was a 50-50 chance. This is how the surgeon sold it to me. I'm laying in a bed. I'm told that I was helicoptered to the hospital. I'm told I have a potentially life-ending condition. The surgeon's explaining things to me, covering his ass, yet trying to sell his product. And I'm scared shitless. What a sales setup that is. I said, what happens if I don't let you cut out half my skull and fool around in my head? Well, Mr. Weiss, there's a 50-50 chance that you'll die. So you're telling me there's a 50% chance that this will resolve itself? Oh, yeah, but it's 50-50. Now, if you were in that position, what are my odds if you do the surgery? Well, the odds are very slim that you're going to die because we've done this surgery successfully 10,000 times. So now I'm saying, well, do I want a pretty sure thing, or do I want to bet 50-50 on a coin flip whether I'm going to live past today? What would you do? Everybody, having it presented to them like that, will say, go ahead and do it, Doc. I believe that my stroke a few years later was a result of not intentional damage, but the fact that things in that area of my head got cut up. And there was scar tissue in there. There's all kinds of other things. And that's exactly where I had my stroke. And I blame it on just nobody's fault, but the fact that if I hadn't had that brain surgery, and that doctor was indeed doing a sales job on me, and the odds were indeed better that I had not done the surgery, that my life would be completely different today, although there was a greater chance that I might not have lived through it. So you look backward and say, did I make the right decision? But it took me 3, 4 years, 5 years for enough time passed before I might even consider the question. And that's what's going to happen to Kip. 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, he's either going to be 800 pounds and on his deathbed, or he's going to be running marathons. At that point, he'll have enough information to even think about whether he's doing the right thing. Right now, he's fallen for the sales pitch. That's the reality of it. So good luck to you, Kip. If you're listening, if I were you, I'd learn more about addiction and the methods to control it, and less about how to get clicks on YouTube. That's what I would do. I don't know what your priorities are. Amanda's here. Good morning, Amanda. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Carnivore Chat. Everybody hates to see him do it. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Bill Cook. Hiya, Bill. Robbie Autry. Question, Mitch, what are your thoughts on GLB-1? You know my thoughts. You know my thoughts. And Liz says, question, the 1,000-pound sister show is slop TV, but it is a damning piece of evidence. I have followed an entire family that got surgery, lost weight, they gained it back because they kept eating garbage. Well, yes, that's obvious. And, of course, somebody's capitalizing on it. They're the show, the advertisers are sponsoring it. Do you suppose most of the ads for GLB-1s and everything? It was like The Biggest Loser on TV. That show was killing its contestants. Just ask Adrian Gledhill. But it was drama. It was drama. And people watch these things. They watch disasters. They're drawn to disasters and drama for one human need. The need to be able to look at this shit and say, there, but for the grace of God, go I. And that makes you feel better. Because that poor sucker, thank goodness that's not me. That's why we're attracted to the crashes at the NASCAR races. That's why we rubberneck on the highway when we see blinking lights and ambulances. We all want to get that feeling. Look at that poor bastard. There, but for the grace of God, go I. Go ahead and admit it to yourself. We're all that way. We're all that way. And Bill Cook says, Gorellin is the devil. Even the name sounds bad. Gorellin. Yeah, doesn't it? I love that. Carnivore Chat. I cheated like Kip 5 years before I got a sugar. Yeah, and you were lucky. You finally figured out how to deal with the one thing that kept you addicted. The fact that well, we won't get into the mechanics of addiction. We've talked about that many, many times. Here's somebody I haven't said hi to. Barbara. Hiya, Barbara. How are you? How are you? Good to see you this morning. Played your new song. Let me take a minute. If you can't chill out to this, there's something wrong with you. Have a sip of coffee. Oh, God. That's so good.
I stopped trusting numbers on a wall. They rise and fall, don't say much at all. Every plan had its moment in time.
I love it.
For a while,
thank you, Barbara.
The line.
I actually sometimes
just
listen to that for the sake of listening to it.
Food, good nights, familiar games.
The track that you picked to go behind those lyrics is my idea of what music should be.
But I always knew my face, rounded back then, soft to shape. Called myself.
I could do that all day. That is great. That is great. Thank you, Barbara. Always thank you for that. Always. And thank Francine Bourgeois for the coffee warmer. There you go. Isn't it wonderful when people do something nice for you out of the goodness of their heart? Something that just makes your life better. Well, that right there did. So thank you again. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough. Where was I? Everybody saying good morning, Barbara. Good morning, Barbara. And we have Peter. Good morning, fellow misfits. Good to see you this morning, Peter, and last night. Always a pleasure. Rick's, I will eat. I eat a lot even with fatty meats. Well, you obviously need it, Rick. You know that the key is simply knowing when you need something and doing it. Knowing when it's time to stop. I'll never get through this. 7:09. Hey, I got past the 7 o'clock hour. Thinking for myself. Good morning. We talked about that this morning too. Also, half the prescriptions people take are basically to offset the side effects of the other prescriptions they're taking, usually, which they really don't need to take because they could just eat a ribeye and solve everything. A lot of talk about Kip. A lot of talk about Kip. Yeah, I said this morning, Rick is reiterating, I said so much effort was put into trying to help Kip. There comes a point where you have to say, you're a grown-up. I can't agonize over your problems anymore. I have been for the past 5 years trying to help you in any way I could. And there comes a time. I've had to do with my own kids. We all have. Look, nothing more I can say to you, Sonny. You're going to have to learn all the hard lessons for yourself because you're obviously a hell of a lot smarter than I am. And the old saying, which I think is really true, somebody wakes up one day and says, wow, I never noticed, but the older I get, the smarter my parents become. What a connection. What a connection. A lot of talk about that surgery. Yeah, wow. Hi, Chuck. How you doing? Super tuning. Clearwater. Chuck is everything speed and automotive related. Interested in races and motorcycles and cars and Isle of Man. Susie Marsh, good morning, Susie. Good morning, beautiful people. How you doing? Good to see you. And Max is here. Hi, Max. Cambridge, Canada. Love the Mitch Fits. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. And more Kip talk, and they need to explain it. Yeah, people need to say, how come this guy can still be alive? Well, for the same reason I can, smoking cigars for 55 years, Rick. Maybe they're wrong about the potential hazards of some of these different things. Maybe it's all bullshit and propaganda. You think? I think. And we're going through the chat here. A lot of conversation. Wow. 7:16. Okay. Making a little progress. Lambs, hiya, Lambs, good morning. Sorry I'm late again. Don't be sorry, young man. You make us worry. A mother worries when the kids don't get home in time for dinner. But usually they're all right. And we usually end up worrying for nothing. In fact, it's said, 90% of the things we agonize over never happen anyway. That's supposed to make you stop worrying. I got news for you. It doesn't. It doesn't. Cell phones make that worse. When you can't reach somebody on the phone anymore, the guy's dead, something's wrong. And we do that. Instant gratification. Maybe it's a good idea sometimes to let your loved ones' calls go to voicemail so they don't get used to the fact that you always answer so that when the one time after you don't answer, they're not already calling the emergency rooms right away. It happens. We get used to it. We get used to it. I'm reading it all. I'm reading it all. Lori says, I'm 2 years carnivore on the 20th. Just a newbie still. On August the 1st, I will be 4 years strict carnivore with low carb most of my life before that. But low carb doesn't work for me because I yo-yoed like 15 times. I fell prey to the addictions again. I had to cut out carbs completely. And every time I even try to introduce a few carbs, maybe say, okay, I can handle blueberries now. I'm only going to have a little dish. Doesn't work. I teach myself that lesson every month or two. I try it again. It doesn't hurt me as long as I know I can't do that. And I've learned to recognize the fact that I can't do it. And when I do it, I know it's not good for me because I might get a pain that I got rid of might come back and start to nag me, or my stomach might get a little upset. So even with as much as I know, I'm still subject to the addictions. And the addictions have tremendous power. And just knowing that they do doesn't help you defeat them. They have to somehow get the message on their own. And my subconscious mind only gets the message after 2 or 3 weeks without sugar. Finally realizes we're not in a famine and it's not necessary to go into survival mode, because that's what an addiction is. It's a survival mode. And the only way to fight an addiction is to fool your subconscious mind into thinking or realizing that there's plenty of food, the right food to eat. And that's by stuffing your face with meat and fat until the addictions kind of wane. It works. It's the only thing in my entire life that has ever worked. But those addictions still keep putting little thoughts in your head. Boy, that blueberry ice cream would just taste so good. Well, that's how it works. That's how it works. The best thing to do when that happens is go eat a half a pound of bacon. Give your subconscious mind a slap in the face saying, what? Snap out of it. Here's plenty of food. You're not starving. Stop filling my head full of thoughts of sugar plum fairies, will you please? That's simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. I've been harping on that for 3 years now. Throw away the scale. Eat till you can't eat anymore, but just eat fatty meat. Period. You'll get rid of your addictions. It does work. And if it doesn't work, and your addictions are even stronger than that, I don't know if I can help you, but maybe there's somebody else that can. Maybe a microdosing GLP-1 might help, like Boz, like Annette Bosworth and Robert Cybus are selling. Maybe for the really, really, really hard cases, as a temporary fix coupled with exactly the right diet and discipline might work. Unfortunately, most people that take those GLP-1s do it as an excuse to keep partying and drinking and eating all this fabulous tasting, addictive, manufactured crap. And in that case, it can only fail. And it's going to fail for Kip. And the gastric surgery is the same way. And it just like it failed for my daughter. And just about everybody else I know that's tried it has ended up gaining back all the weight they may have lost because they're hungry all the time. When you're hungry all the time, you cannot get healthy. You will eat. You're not strong enough to overcome your natural survival instincts and the cravings that they throw at you day in and day out. You will live a life of suffering. Whereas if you would just eat the fat, meat, bacon, eggs, You will get food freedom faster than you realize, and you won't be tormented by this shit anymore. Why can't they just believe that? They can observe it everywhere. Why don't they want that for themselves? Because they're not ready to give up the pleasure, which is nature's way of motivating an animal to do what it needs to do. The pleasure, the comfort of the sugary foods. And by sugars, I mean anything with carbs, even bread. That was my biggest addiction, was bread. It wasn't sweets. It was bread. It was bagels, pizza crust. Oh, God. And we keep harping at this. And I keep saying the same thing over and over. But new people are listening, and I even have to remind myself every day of some of this stuff. When my subconscious gets a wild hair up its ass and decides I need to eat blueberries. Okay, willpower is the most misleading word in the whole. First of all, it should not be willpower. It should be won't power. Think about that. It should be won't power. Like George Carlin used to say, when he said, "Get on the plane, sir," he would say, "F you, I'm not getting on the plane, I'm getting in the plane." Well, it's the same thing with willpower and won't power. It should be won't power. I love George Carlin. Okay, I'm streaming through this stuff. Let's see all this stuff. Rant Man at your service, says Robbie Autry. How you doing? And did I say hi to you, Brenda McIntyre? No, I didn't. Don't let your meatloaf, our daily word of wisdom and advice. Very true, very true. Loretta Nadow's here. Hi, Loretta. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Brendan and Robbie and Lori and Robbie. Conversations are great. Conversations are great. Peter's talking about his grandmother. Peter's grandmother reminds me of my grandmother. A short, roly-poly little lady who could cook. Oh, could that woman cook and throw the greatest guilt trip. I keep saying she was a ninja master at throwing a guilt trip on you. Jewish grandmothers. Oh, they ought to be politicians. They're the greatest negotiators in the world. And here is Christy. Good morning, Christy. Meaning Wellness, not Liz, but Christy. I apologize if you weren't here earlier for calling you Liz yesterday. It's tough to keep them all separate, and I don't know why I keep mixing you and Liz up. But Liz is the Black Box Warning TV, and Meaning Wellness is Christy. Yes, good morning, Christy. I'm glad you're here. I will conscientiously try not to let that slip out again. And if you do YouTube and get a lot of people in the chat and try to keep them all straight, you will understand what a challenge that could be when you're trying to go fast and be entertaining and everything else. To be accurate, sometimes it's very taxing. Very taxing. Because she says it's okay. That's not okay. It's not okay. I feel funny when somebody, acknowledges my presence in the chat and says, "Well, hi, Steve." Not Steve. But I understand. But I try to be more considerate than that. Chrissy said, I liked him to watch, and he was talking about me. Yeah. How about that? That's funny. That is funny. Your timing was perfect. Nobody's going to forget that you're Christy now, that's for sure. CB says, Mitch, you just name people who you want them to be named. My name is Charles, Mitch. Nice to meet you. You, Steve. Yeah, there you go. I knew. I was joking about the Steve, and I hadn't read that yet. That's funny. That's funny. And that's half an hour ago. So you foretold the future, CB, Charles. You foretold the future. You knew I was going to use the name Steve half an hour from now. That's spooky. That's really spooky. Really spooky. Here we go. There's jury's in the spirit already. Mitch, I had some of that healthy smoked brisket from Fort Myers this week. Yes. Let's start using the word healthy. Let's make it automatic when we talk about bacon and eggs. Healthy bacon, healthy eggs, and healthy ribeyes, and healthy burger patties. Some healthy chicken thighs cooked in healthy animal fats. Why can't we do it? They do it. You hear it. You hear it. Everybody who is sick and poisoning himself claims, if you listen to them talk about their own habits, they all say, well, I don't understand it. I eat healthy. Don't people say that? I see it in TV shows. They comment about other people eating healthy. Well, I see you're eating healthy. You're eating breakfast cereal and skim milk and orange juice. You're eating healthy. I don't know why you're big and fat and diabetic. Doesn't make sense. Must be something different about you. Maybe you're just not a normal human being. And we define normal these days as sick and attributed the word healthy to it. I think about these things, so I notice it constantly. Everywhere I go, everywhere I listen, I hear the same bullshit. Well, I eat healthy. I'm very conscientious about eating healthy, and I exercise, and I go to the gym for 8 hours a day. Why the hell am I dying? I'm a vegan, for God's sakes. How can you do better than that? Of course I'm a vegan. It would be irresponsible to be any other way. And these people are dying. Or they're living out of a supplement bottle, taking 50 different supplements, but they're saving the planet, saving the climate, saving the animals, but killing themselves. So it's so much stupidity, so many morons. What can I tell you? So many gullible people. So many gullible people out there. And I suppose we are too, for one way or another. But I'm pretty well certain by this time that eating the way our ancestors ate is the best shot we got. They were forced to eat this way. So we adapted to that way. And now we're trying to rewrite evolution, and we can't do it. Can't do it. I'm at 7:30. Still a half an hour behind. Holy cow, guys, it's 8:03 already. Look at that. Look at that. Yumira says, Mitch, Kilts, and the private community, thank you all so much for answering my query. Let the idiots talk. We go our merry way. You got it, Yumira. You got it. They all talk like they know for sure. I don't know for sure. Kelsey doesn't know for sure. We are logical, analytical thinkers, and that might be our best guess at the current state of what we know. We do know certain things that are true and are pure, and they have to be the building blocks of all the theories that come after. That's how science progresses. You have to recognize a theory when it's a theory. A hypothesis that is not proven yet, but is likely. And science is the art of proving it with real results and real tests that are well structured. And that's where That's where we go wrong. We turn science into a marketing tool. Sorry to say it. The science is like you're in college and you got a cheat sheet with the answers before you take the test. The object is not to learn anything, it's to pass the test. They don't teach you what you need to know. They teach what you need to know to pass the test. And they call that teaching to the test. And it happens everywhere. Well, that's what our science has become. Experimenting to get results that meet the agenda of the tester, which is, so when a drug company commissions a test, they're doing it to try to prove that they can get their drug past the FDA. So the science is now trying to get past the test rather than with acceptable downsides, so they can sell a new drug and manipulate the results of the test statistically to make it sound like they do with GLP-1s, the answer, the solution, the miracle. Grow hair, we got it. Don't like your body, we got surgery for that. Want to lose weight, you tried all your life. Well, today, we got GLP-1. What does GLP-1 mean? I have no friggin' idea, but we got it. Corruption and deception and lies, and our whole basic culture is built on that foundation these days. And we're supposed to try to fix it. It's impossible. Impossible. Still talking about Kip. Well, Kip, you can certainly get attention. You can certainly get attention. We're still talking about Kip. Wow. Madeline. Hi, Madeline. Mitch, what is your opinion on Redmond salt with the microplastics? Do you use salt as an electrolyte? Yes, I do. I use Himalayan salt in my electrolyte mix. My opinion on Redmond salt with the microplastics is, who cares? Who cares? Where did that come from? Is it actually real? Is there a salt without microplastics in it? Was that leak of that dastardly advice about Redmond salt, did it come from a competitor? Is it propaganda? I don't know. Can I find anything that doesn't have microplastics in it? Has anybody even ever proven that microplastics are doing any harm to human beings at the level that we're consuming them? Has that even been proven? Or is that just another assumption? Another piece of propaganda designed to get you to change your ways and buy something else? It's all bullshit. Come to me with proof, not accusations. I don't listen to accusations anymore because everything is an agenda and propaganda these days, and it is not worth the time to even think about it. Prove to me somehow, with 30 and 40-year or 50-year studies that are designed properly and have no agenda behind them, that microplastics are harmful to human physiology, and show me the results. And let me meet the people who have been harmed by microplastics. And convince me that this whole bullshit nonsense wasn't started by the Corning Glass Company to get people to stop using plastic completely. That's possible. That's possible. Don't be so quick to panic when you hear shit until you have some, you do a little critical thinking. On the other hand, it may be killing us. Maybe we shouldn't use red bean salt. I'm not saying that either. You asked me what my opinion is. My opinion is we don't know enough about this yet, and we won't know for another 100 years. Assuming we do the right studies and tests, whether it really was a problem. I feel the same way about my cigar smoking. I don't think it's killing me. I know it's not killing me. My coffee drinking isn't killing me. I'm almost 80 years old, I can tell you that now. I'm in great health. My mind is sharp. I'll be able to tell you more when I'm 100. But as of this stage of my life, I'm pretty confident after 55 years of cigar smoking. I have no coughs. I have no symptoms, no lung damage. My blood oxygen is 99 or 100 all the time. I'm not inhaling the smoke. I don't have emphysema. I don't have a cough. I've been smoking cigars for 55 years. I'm pretty well convinced right now that they're not killing me. And I've been eating food that may contain microplastics for my whole life. And so far, I don't know what the symptoms of, is there such a thing as microplastic poisoning? I don't know. What are the symptoms? How do I know if I'm being damaged by microplastics? I know that oxalates damage me. I know that because I had kidney stones. And I'm dumping oxalates like crazy and still am. So yeah, I can personally talk to that. But I use red bean salt. I use a shake of it in my eggs. That's it. The only time I use red bean salt. Otherwise, I use Himalayan pink salt. And how do I know that the Himalayan pink salt doesn't have microplastics? So I'm trying to make a point here, Alan. The point I'm trying to make is everything isn't as simple as somebody else would have you believe. And more often than not, it's a sneaky way, just like the sneaky way that the big drug companies, when Crestor statins first came out, they put out an ad that said Crestor lowers your risk of a heart attack by 40%, which is not true. But they could manipulate statistics, and we've all seen through that already. And if you haven't seen through that already, that'll piss you off too. They get us all talking. Just like Paul Saladino's got half the carnivore community convinced now that they're going to die a horrible death if they don't start eating sugar again. It gets clicks on YouTube. It's the only validity I give to that. With the caveat. I will admit at any time, I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I don't have enough evidence yet. But I always add on to my caveat, but I doubt it. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. I was wrong once before. You remember that time I thought I was wrong? I wasn't. That's a joke. That's a joke. Critical thinking. The best way to find out if something, to form an opinion that might be right, is to look first at where the information you got came from, if you can even find out, and what are the motives of those people. So you can pretty well tell that if Eli Lilly puts out a study that knocks one of Pfizer's drugs off the shelf, you can pretty well say, well, maybe they have a motive for putting that out, and it's not real. They don't really care about us. They're not concerned that if we take Eli Lilly's drug instead of Pfizer's drug, that we're going to be hurting ourselves. And at Pfizer, we care. Yeah, you care about the bottom line. As well you should. You're a business. But stop scamming us. This is what happens when you get me on a soapbox. Critical thinking. The operative word is critical. Don't just take it for granted or take it as truth. And the same goes true of everything I say. Because I might be wrong. I have been wrong. And in reality, without trying to be a comedian, you can't go through life and not be wrong. You just can't. Do the best you can. For me, with all the mistakes I've made and the money it's cost me and some of the unforeseen things I got into that I punished myself, I should have seen it coming. What was I thinking? I let myself off the hook with a very simple philosophy. I say to myself, and I truly believe it, every decision I made, every decision through the course of my life that I made, business, personal, marriage, whatever it was, at the time I made it, based on the information I had at the time, was the correct decision. End of story. Is it always the best decision? No. But let yourself off the hook. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's infallible. We all let stuff go by us. And we don't, because nobody can put that much thought into what's going to happen 20 years from now and all the variables that could change it. So let yourself off the hook. When you made the decision, you were smart. It was the correct decision at the time. It just so happened that things didn't go like they were supposed to because of circumstances that were not under your control, nor could they have been foreseen. My biggest tragedies in life were business failures. First one was caused by the economic collapse of 2008. Or excuse me, 1980s. The collapse when the banks all went broke in the 80s and the economy crashed. And nobody foresaw that. My second humongous business was the loss of my 20-year-old computer company that was doing fabulous as a partner of Compaq Computers. When Hewlett-Packard came along and bought Compaq and did away with the partner program, and in 6 months I was totally without customers because they stole them all away. How can you foresee something like that? You make a deal with a huge company like Compaq. You have half the state of Florida as your territory. All the government and school districts are buying these things from you. You're doing great. You're a hero. You're winning awards. You're making a fortune. And then all of a sudden, Hewlett-Packard comes along and buys Compaq, and they work differently. And they say, well, we don't use partners like you anymore. Could you possibly foresee that happening when I made the decision to join Compaq as a partner? No. Same thing with YouTube. You think it's going to work one way, and they keep changing the rules on you. You can't foresee the rules. Let yourself off the hook if you keep punishing yourself. I did. I punished myself for not being smart enough. Finally decided, let myself off the hook. When I made that decision, it was the right decision. When you married that person who you later wanted to kill, at the time you married them, you were in love and happy, and it seemed like the right thing to do. You couldn't tell that they would go nuts and psychotic on you. That's what happened to me. Maybe there were signs I could have seen. I don't know. Stop. We punish ourselves way too much. Way too much. And if you fall off the wagon on carnivore and eat something you shouldn't have, don't punish yourself. Climb back on the wagon and forget about it. Move on. We all do that. Don't say, well, now that I've screwed it up completely, I guess I can't do this, so I'm going to go back to getting sick and dying. If I gotten anywhere close, God, it's 20 after already. There's no way I can ever do this in an hour. And it's self-feeding. The longer it goes, the more chat goes. So I got to try to... It's like swimming against the tide. You know what I mean? Right now, it's pretty much down to conversation. I'm going to look for any more cues. I'll read. I'm going to watch the replay. Here's a cue. Q from Uncle Charlie. Maybe Larry from Carnivore Quest and Lance can get a hold of Kip. Stop worrying about Kip, Charlie. Forget Kip. Kip is beyond help. He's beyond help and beyond caring. Do not send the boy any more money. Don't buy him any more food. Don't give him any more advice. He has shown a pattern over the last 3 or 4 years that there is no helping him. He's a drug addict, and he's going to get his drugs, and he's going to con you out of everything, making you feel sorry for him. That's the pattern. It doesn't mean he's a bad guy, but he does manipulate people's concerns and care. I'll buy that the first time. I'll buy that the second time. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt the third time. When it comes to the 30th and 40th time, go somewhere else. I'm done taking you seriously. And I'll leave it at that. So, I'd like to be able to help all the downtrodden of the world. I don't have the power, I don't have the money, and I have an hour in my live stream every morning to talk about things that can help us rather than worried about how we're spending the entire stream. And it may sound harsh, but I can't donate my entire stream. I couldn't do it yesterday with that guy that came in at the end of the stream with one post after another. Poor me, poor me, poor me. This happened, that happened, the other thing happened. I'm homeless. I lost my wife. Yeah, sorry, friend. We've all had disasters in our life, but my live stream is not the place for you to come in and dominate our chat, asking for help from people where we're all good people and want to help. We lose sight of the football when that happens. There are other places, and this guy yesterday said it best himself. I may be in the wrong place. I tried carnivore, so maybe you can help me. No, I'm sorry. Go find your street corner next to the interstate, get a cardboard sign and hang it up, or get your ass to work and solve your own problems. It's not our job to drop what we're doing and try to save your ass. I don't come into your house saying, hey, I can't pay my house payment this month. Can you all help me? Or come into your group meetings. These people are trolls and master the art of getting you to feel sorry for them. And Kip has dominated the chat, has added 100 entries to the chat this morning that I've had to go through and read to try to get to back on track, back to the subject. Yes, Barry says, rant man. Back on track and back to on a subject matter that we're here for. We're here for, and that is try to address items and things. This is what I want to do. It's fun to chit-chat and talk about cigars and coffee and all that shit, but we're here to motivate ourselves to try to come up with solutions and techniques to help us over the hurdles. And if anybody in here is having those hurdles with carnivore, not with the fact that you're getting evicted from your house, not with the fact that your car's not running, not with the fact that your wife left you, not with the... We're here to talk about how are we going to... It's hard enough to solve these problems without trying to solve every other one of life's little problems for every sad sack that comes in here. I know that sounds stuff. I've been trying to help sad sacks all my life, and they usually end up sticking it up in me where the sun don't shine and stealing from me after I've helped them. I am so cynical about beggars anymore. I'll beg, buy me a coffee. That's about the extent of it. And don't do that if you don't want to. But you're not hearing me sit here talking about my sad sack life. I want to turn this positive. I want to turn it positive. The questions. All right, here's the thing from Liz. On autopsy, microplastics are things used to assist with autopsies. Know a lot of pathologists, but harm, they don't know. That's what I said. That's what I said. I don't care if my body's full of microplastics when I'm dead and they cut it open. Did it cause my death? Did it cause disease and suffering? If not, who cares? It's true. We don't know yet. But if we don't know, if it's not glaring, we know that about oxalates. Liz is absolutely right. That's how we got in this whole cholesterol mess. Because they found cholesterol at the sites of blockages when they did autopsies. Well, we now know that the mechanism isn't the cholesterol's fault, it's inflammation's fault. So an entire race in the animal kingdom, the human race is dying off because of a misconception about what clogs your arteries and how it happens. It's maddening. It's maddening. And if we do nothing else here, maybe helping people understand these things, ranting a little about how stupid it is and reckless it is to base entire industries on methods and things that are harmful, like they're doing with GLPs and those things, when you could just eat meat, accomplish the same thing with no risk. You talk about a long-term study. How about a 3 million year study that resulted in us being alive today? We don't have that many more generations if we don't get real about this stuff. If we don't stop messing with the human genome and we don't stop coming up with our miracle cures. We're getting too damn clever for our own good, and we're killing off our species. We've already stopped evolution in its tracks with modern medicine and travel. We're not evolving anymore. We're devolving now. Our lifespans are getting shorter. We're being kept alive by medical interventions, which are generating fortunes for drug companies and food companies and bankrupting us. We are killing ourselves and the world because we think we're too damn smart. The only smart people in the world are people that recognize what's happening and try to call it out. And I consider myself one of them. But I have an audience of 106 people. So what I know, I'm going to point out to you guys. And if you think I'm a crazy, ranting old man, that's true. The people that know me personally have sat down and talked to me and had some deep conversations would want to disagree with you. That maybe I know what I'm talking about because I can see the patterns. And I asked Mike Sealer yesterday when he's here, I said, because I always doubt myself. I always want to, I don't want to give misinformation. I said, Mike, have you ever found anything I've ever told you that wasn't understandable and realistically true? He says, oh, no. And we talk about some crazy shit. Liz, I learned more towards competitor on the Redmond salt scandal. A lot of salt is likely. Yes, that's what the competitors do. Opposition research. The politicians do it too. Vote for me. Don't vote for the other guy because we've discovered that when he was in high school, he puffed on a marijuana cigarette and more than likely inhaled. Divert the attention to the other guy. Don't tell us what's right about you and your platform. Tell us what's wrong about him. That's politics. Well, those tactics are everywhere. It's just a very deceptive world. And the older you get, the more you recognize these things. You can't look in any direction without seeing fraud and deception. I got to get through this. 8:20. All right, we're going to run through it from here. We're going to run through it. Barry says, real talk with Mitch. Raw talk. Raw talk. Old Guy Carnivore, raw. Yes. Tough love, says Robbie. I'm frustrated. I look at things that are so obvious and self-evident and say, why doesn't everybody see this? It's right there in your face. Why can't they see it? They can't. They've been magician's favorite trick. Look over here, while the thing that I'm screwing you with is happening over there. They call that diversion. That's the first tactic of a magician. To fool people. And people do get fooled. And there are really people out there in the world that believe that this guy can make an elephant disappear, see? And some of the things they believe in the name of religion are even more unbelievable than that. But yet half the world, all their life is based on those beliefs of something that the average thinking human being would say, are you crazy? And I'll leave it at that. Okay. I did it. We have somebody named Time Traveler. Most people will never override or overwrite the programming they are subjected to. Oh, absolutely. It's the programming that's controlling us. You should change your own code. But that's another subject. Well, those are my friends. It's been stimulating. For me, it's got my adrenaline going. I like that. That's great. Here's a little happy music for you. It's 8:30. Did it again. I won't see you again until Sunday morning when I'm joining my friend Kiltsy on his 10 a.m. live stream. It'll be like was this morning, probably the same guys. We have a good time. Do it outside, smoke a cigar, drink some coffee, and have a little schmooze time with all my buddies. Like to see some more women come in, though. Like to see some women come in. But anyway, thanks for coming today. Thanks for being here. We had good attendance today, and always good to see you. Like to see more. I don't know why I do this. I see other people do it too. I mean, I never notice it. I sit there and do this. And people probably say, what the hell's he doing with his hand there? Why is he doing it? I don't know. It's an unconscious thing. And the other day, I was watching one of the other carnivore people on their YouTube channel. And they're sitting there going like this. So maybe there's some significance in our ancestral programming to this particular motion. Why? What could I possibly benefit by trying to wear my fingerprints off so when I turn to a life of crime they can't catch me? What is the deal with this? And I normally don't notice it, but I notice it on all my live streams when I watch the replay, and then I'm looking at my hand and it's going like this. Got a mind of its own. Stop it! And the music ends. And the day begins. So my friends, always great to be here. And we all wish Carnivore kept the best. I'm not optimistic about the outcome. That's just my opinion. It's sad. I do have compassion. But my name is not Mother Teresa. And I usually joke about Mother Teresa because people compare everybody to the goodness of Mother Teresa. And I come back and say, yeah, but Mother Teresa still got a paycheck. Would she have worked without one? And how would she have supported herself and eaten? Altruism is a deep subject. All right, guys. With all that being said, TGIF, have a great weekend. I don't know if there's anything special, if this is any kind of holiday. They haven't figured out what to do this weekend. I don't think Monday's a holiday. I think it's a normal weekend. the first weekend in June. Enjoy yourselves. I will see you Sunday with Kilts and Monday morning back here on Morning Coffee with Mitch. And until then, take the rest of the day off